Yo, what is up, guys? Today we're going to be talking about Katakuri versus Luffy and on the events that happened in the last chapter. Now, ever since the fight started back in the Mirror World, it was heavily hinted that this was going to be some sort of training session for Luffy, given the fact that Katakuri has a very similar Devil Fruit to Luffy. And in some of the chapters, we have Katakuri saying things like, you have to use your powers this way or that way, basically telling him how to use his fruit in a stronger and more efficient form. And one thing we know about Luffy is that he picks things really quickly, as we have seen with Luffy's imitation of Zoro with Blueno back at Enya's lobby. Now obviously the fight isn't over, and it wasn't long ago Katakuri and Luffy fought. It's only been like a few hours, I'd say, or a couple of minutes, so I don't expect him to learn it that quickly. But later down the line, maybe during Wano, he will have his own variation of the skill set Katakuri used against him, but there is a chance he might use it in their next encounter. Now, one of the abilities that Luffy is trying to develop or use against Katakuri is Future Sight. However, we know Katakuri trained his observation to the point which probably took him years to control and develop. Meanwhile, Luffy just began training Haki just 2 years ago. But there was hints that Luffy may gain this power, and that was at Marineford. Luffy versus Mihawk. Again, this ties in so well with what Rayleigh said in this chapter. The flower of Haki only truly blooms in extreme conditions of battle. And in this scenario with Luffy and Mihawk, he sort of awakened a form of observation that made him avoid getting his arms cut off. And the thing is, observation hasn't been drawn like that except with Katakuri, at least from what we've seen anyway. So Luffy obtaining future vision isn't a long shot after all, but obviously if he does get this ability, he's not gonna have as much control like Katakuri has. But still, this would be a massive boost in power for Luffy if it can see 1 or 2 seconds in the future. In a sense, this fight would come down to who can use their future sight better than the other. In this case, it would still be Katakuri, and this is why I think Luffy seeing the future will not help greatly against Katakuri. Even though it's hinted that Luffy might get this power, I really don't see how the future vision would help Luffy hit Katakuri, knowing that, Katakuri uses his Paramecia Devil Fruit to evade attacks, Haki imbued attacks. So the future vision, it's gonna help a little bit, but it's not exactly gonna be that crazy of a boost. For Katakuri, at least. I don't know about any other Yonko commander. Now, there was something Luffy said that people tend to undermine in this chapter, and that was that Luffy said he wants to surpass Katakuri. Now, there's the obvious meaning, which is, he wants to beat Katakuri, but the key word here is surpass, which could also be taken as he wants to conquer Katakuri. And that's what I personally got from the quote, which might relate to his next power-up, and that is conquers Haki. And it makes sense because during the fight, Katakuri states that he has the upper hand in Devil Fruit, Ornament Haki, and Observation Haki. But there's something Katakuri doesn't have that Luffy has, and that's Conquers. I feel like Luffy will display another ability that Conquers Haki can do, apart from just taking fodder out. And I feel like one power-up could be the enhancement of Ornament and Observation Haki, whereas it could amplify the other types of Haki and make them grow faster than usual, or it could just have an effect on Katakuri's observation by nerfing his own observation. Maybe like sort of conquering Katakuri's observation to the point where like Katakuri cannot use his observation, or he can't use it as well. So in a sense, it could be like a nerf to other people's Haki. Again, it's going to be something hacks that will show us a glimpse of what Shanks is doing and why he's up there with the Yonko. Whatever it's going to be, I hope Oda delivers with greatness with Luffy's new power-up. Another ability he might use will be Kamiye. Now, Luffy has a thing with the 6 powers of the, CP9. We saw Zoro back at Enya's lobby, and we saw Geppo in Gear Fort when he was flying around during his fight against Doflamingo, Dofi. And at this point, I wouldn't be surprised if Luffy creates his own variation of each powers of the Rokushiki. Now, going back to Kamiye. Now, Kamiye allows one to change the shape of their body to evade attacks. Given that Luffy is rubber, his version could be a lot like Fukuro from the CP9. And with the future sight, he would essentially copy what Katakuri is doing with his Logia-like fruit, where he can evade attacks using his future vision. But Luffy would be doing this with a Paramecia Devil Fruit, and that's almost impossible to bypass. As of now, there's really no way to hurt that person with that power unless their observation stops, as we saw with Katakuri. So this would be a major boost in power for Luffy from a defensive standpoint, as he would be able to use this in any form. Kamiye plus his future sight would essentially make him do what Katakuri is doing with his Devil Fruit. And as far as Luffy versus Katakuri goes, while it is looking like Luffy will win the fight, Katakuri may show show us something spooky with his abilities. I mean, at this point, win or loss for Luffy, the fact is Luffy will show growth, and that is all I need. Obviously, beating Katakuri would be the icing on the cake, but tell me what you guys think. Like the video if you liked it, subscribe for more content on this channel. It is Pharaoh, guys, and I will see you guys later. Peace.